Mission 101, standby 02. Mission 101, scramble, scramble, scramble.
Mission 101, climbing to 1 kilometer on a heading of 010, accelerating to 900 kilometers.
One bogey, 11 o'clock, 25 kilometers, maintaining 1 kilometer altitude.
Bogey copy.
He's now heading 270 on his side of international border.
Roger.
Mission 101, turn 180 and orbit left.
Turning left 180.
Now turn 270, bogey turning 180, entering international border.
Roger, now turning right 270. Contact. He is aggressively turning towards me. It is a Pakistani Atlantic and not following my international signals. He appears to be hostile. Positioning for a missile launch. Confirm clear to launch.
Affirmative.
Big 2. His left engine appears to be on fire.
Brake right and heading 160 for base.
Roger. Braking right. Rolling out 160.
Hi, good evening friends. The most iconic and world's most produced supersonic fighter jet, MiG-21, which first flew on 16 June 1955, almost 67 years before, is still deployed on ORP duties, is a reality which is hard to believe. Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-21, also known as Fishbed, is one of the greatest aircraft of all time, which was used by over 60 countries. The aircraft remained in longest production right from 1959 till 1985, making the single most produced supersonic fighter in the history, and over 11,000 aircraft were produced. Today, even after 59 years of service, the MiG-21 continues to fly with the Indian Air Force, sharing the sky with most modern fighters like the F-15, F-16, MiG-29 or the Mirage 2000. Initially, this delta wing design was chosen to produce a simple, lightweight, reliable and most affordable Mach 2 supersonic fighter for fastest interception of fighter bombers. Later, as the aircraft design proved, it was extensively exploited for every possible role, which included air defense, ground attack, close air support, photo recce, and lead-in fighter training. The Hindustan Aeronautics Limited had the privilege of producing nearly 575 fighters, which changed the technological and manufacturing capabilities in the Indian aviation sector. In year 1963, 6 MiG-21s were inducted in number 28 Squadron, the first supersonics. The MiG-21, right from 1971 Indo-Pakistan conflict till Kargil War, made numerous headlines as it shot down F-86 Saberjet, F-104 starfighters, and later a Pakistan Navy Atlantic aircraft on 10th August 1999. No doubts, MiG-21 also remained in news due to various crashes, and most important facts as the cause of accident will be known shortly as we see this video ahead. Once upon a time, MiG-21 aircraft were the backbone of the IAF, and to replace them all was an unthinkable task. Once again, after a few decades, on 27 February 2019, MiG-21 shot down a Pakistani F-16. The world was surprised to digest if this was true, and even the top military experts forgot to note that this MiG-21 Bison was the son of MiG-21 BIS, equipped with BVR missiles and most modern avionics. More importantly, this MiG-21 Bison was flown by a 21st century Indian Air Force pilot, Wing Commander Abhinandan.
Mission 101, Scramble, Scramble, Scramble. You're cleared for takeoff. Initial vector 250, climb 4 kilometers and maintain max speed.
Roger, cleared for takeoff. Initial vector 250, climbing 4 kilometers. Will maintain maximum speed. Confirm Bravo with me.
Multiple bogies for you. 12 o'clock, low, maintain high speed. Alpha, turn left 200 and Bravo, turn right 300 for sprinter attack.
Turning left 200 for pincer attack.
Alpha, turn right 340, look left 10 o'clock low.
Roger.
Bravo, turn left 160, look right 2 o'clock low.
Roger, turning right. Visual. They have spotted us and taking evasive action. Turning hard right. On. Chasing one F-16. Breaking right. I am hit. Ejecting.
Ladies and gentlemen, today you are going to meet the father of MiG-21 aircraft, Air Commodore Surendra Singh Tyagi, VM, who undertook a total of 6,315 sorties and flew over 4,000 flying hours, which is the highest in the world. He has the distinction of holding various important assignments, apart from training a large number of military pilots. He is the pilot who, after bombing the Dhaka airfield during the 1971 war, made a victory loop, knowing well about the threat by the surface-to-air missiles. So without taking any more time of yours, let's hear Air Commodore SS Tyagi what he has to say on the most iconic fighter jet of the Indian Air Force. Jai Hind.
Well, this aircraft, MiG-21, is a classic example of how sometime you hit on a design which can really take care of requirement of many countries which can't afford the high value fighter aircraft. In '63 we got type 76 we used to call it. It had fixed cone. Thereafter we got 77s in the later part of 60s, then got M's or 96, then we got MFs and M's, and thereafter finally we got 70 MiG-75, the MiG-21 Biz, which came in 1975. Biz was also a version to counter which America actually produced F-16, and we can imagine that from 1975 a machine was created to counter another machine, and very recently, 2 years back, when we had Abhinandan actually shooting down F-16. That is strange but true. This is how good this particular aircraft is. And of course, in 2000 we upgraded the Biz aircraft, MiG-21 Biz, to actually Bison, which was upgraded with the help of Israel and Russia. Now Bison is one of the best aircraft in its class flying today on the earth. In fact, when we hold any exercise with, say, American Air Force or Royal Air Force or French Air Force or anyone else, in fact, they appreciate not the aircraft we fly other, like Su-30, which have a different role. They fly differently, or Mirages or Jaguars. Actually, they always say that MiG-21 Bison was something that they really didn't expect to perform so well and actually get better of them in many times in air combats. This is how good this aircraft is. Just to go over how it evolved in terms of weight carriage and armament load carriage. Initially, when 77s came, they had 3 stations, 2 wing stations which carried missiles, or subsequently we improved them to carry rocket pod, and 3rd station, ventral station, was mostly for ventral tank, one small tank of 490 liters. Of course, it could also have a gondola, then you didn't have any external fuel available to you. This gondola carried Gasha 23mm gun. Okay, but then your range and total time in air had been really reduced very largely. This improved subsequently. We got the M's and Bays and Bisons with 5 stations, 4 on wing, 1 on ventral. Ventral also because the gun was built in now. It was internal gun, same Gasha 23mm. With the result, you have more tank space available for external tank carriage. Ventral tank, which could also be up to 800 liters. We also had 2 on the wing you could carry, or you could carry all these 4 stations, 1 ventral tank and 4 other stations with any combination, air to air and air to ground. It's strange that when we started operating MiG-21, it was purely a dash interceptor. That is the FL. It got airborne straight, continued to climb. The profile was very amazing. 13 you went supersonic, 1.3 you cruised. Thereafter at 16 you leveled out, sped up to, you increased your speed to 1.85, and thereafter you raised your nose and carried on climbing at trying to level out at 21. Normally you were unable to manage that successfully in the beginning as young pilots because the rate of reaction or rate of response to stick movement was very sluggish. So with the result, mostly we used to land up at 22-23 kilometers, and speed we wanted to control up to 2.1, but by the time we were leveling out, instead of checking at 2.1 mark, it used to carry on, and many times you hit actually 2.4 mark. So amazing aircraft, really good. But thereafter we converted in Indian Air Force definitely to to the air to ground role, and we started taking pods first, and then the bombs. Bombs were carried on 77 too, but then on M's and MFs the results were far superior, because the sight also had improved from fixed bucket sight to a gyro gun sight, and of course now we have radar operated HUD, and all the weapons aiming systems have been incorporated in Bison. It's really, it can carry guided bombs of 500 kg each, and earlier we were carrying only normal free fall drop 500 kg bombs, and which is what we used during 71 war, and successfully at that. In fact, we blasted both the Dhaka runways, various certain positions over Lalmai hills, etc. Mainly because they were reasonably effective, fairly accurate, and steep dives, so there was no threat from any ground fire actually. We used to do 45 degrees, which meant that actually you were at about 48, 49 degrees of dive. And the results were very accurate. Line errors were not there, so it didn't matter for runway attack. You always carried on and did that successfully. So in 71 we used them copiously, and you know the result, that we actually demolished Pakistan in 13 days time. I was lucky when the runways were demolished. One day during offensive sweep I found no response from Pakistanis, and I actually did a loop over Dhaka runways, and I still remember that. Crazy thing to do, but well, the war, when you win, you're excited, and we all fighter pilots are same all over the world. We do crazy things. I've just talked of its armament. It can carry now all the modern weapons. It carry air-to-air BBRs also, and very effective. But main thing is its power. It has a very good power thrust ratio. I remember once in MiG-21 base climbing to 12.3 kilometers from Wheels Roll in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. With EPR, its thrust is actually more than 9,200 kgs, which is excellent. And in fact, it reaches a ratio of 1-to-1 thrust with the fuel at about 700 liters. It can also perform exceptionally well in terms of short takeoff and short landing. Short takeoff really not really short, but certainly within 700 meters, 800 meters it gets airborne. And landing also, it comfortably can achieve short landing within 550, 600 meters. I am lucky with my experience of over 6,300 sorties on MiG-21. In fact, I used to demonstrate and train all my young pilots to stop the aircraft, show them. Basically, they were allowed only to stop at 550, 600, but I have actually demonstrated stopping that aircraft between 400 and 450, which is really excellent short landing for any fighter MiG-21 class. And I'm sure, and I know it well, that every fighter pilot in the world is actually envious of MiG-21 for its capability in performing, and certainly the earlier versions, the kind of demand they used to put on pilot. It was purely a fighter pilot's aircraft. Pilot achieved what he could perform, how well he could perform. Aircraft did add only by its total cooperation to achieve the missions, whatever you had desired. I wish all the MiG-21 pilots who are flying all the very best, happy landings, and exploit the aircraft, but always treat it as total love, affection and care that you would do to the one you love most in your life. Jai Hind.